Is Two Dudes with Attitudes, a wrestling podcast with Ryan Enjoys Wrestling and MWO, and it is our AEW Fight Forever week of July 19th, 2025. We're going to talk all things Collision and Dynamite. A lot happened, a lot didn't happen. Both shows are pretty good. They were jam-packed. We're moving on with tournaments and other things. Ryan, are you excited to talk about AEW this week?
Yeah, they got some explaining to do with some of the things that they're doing right now. So
you got some explaining to do.
Got some explaining to do. So let's get into it, man. Let's get this party started.
Let's go.
Two dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and our attitudes ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're riding, didn't they here to get your attention? A 5-star broadcast shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E, the two dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.
Bro, I'm watching our intro video for those of you that are watching as well. And when did Blake Monroe attack Toni Storm? That was crazy.
Yeah,
all right.
I have to fix that. And,
it's so sad. Our videos, man, they get expired in about 3 weeks.
I know, that's the thing
anymore.
That's what stinks about wrestling. Things change. Like I got to update the Hangman Page thing. I got to add, Adam Copeland is staring down Jon Moxley. Like we all know how that feud ended. So we gotta change that. We gotta fix that.
We do. And you know what?
But it is sad though. One thing that we probably won't talk about it, but we can't ever talk about. I feel like AEW can never mention Toni Storm and Mariah May ever again because she's in WWE and they're referencing ex-WWE stars on their show, and that's a big no-no. So I feel like
sure they will.
It's very sad. Like it's just sad. Like we can't remember Toni Storm and Mariah because that was like a highlight of AEW and some of the best storytelling that they've done. So
top two feuds of all time.
Absolutely.
True. Well, let's talk about something on AEW that they should fix, and let's go to Collision. And I want to open up with probably the least important thing we're going to talk about, but something that continues to irk me, and that is one Max Caster. I'm pretty sure that he didn't get a walkout this Collision. Am I wrong? I think he was just in the ring. And he's sitting there chanting, Max Caster is the best wrestler alive. And nobody's following. Nobody's chanting. He's standing there looking like a goof. And he does his 5-minute challenge, which the announcers are still like, commentators are still like buying into it, sort of. And then out comes the vicious, the deadly, the maniac in the ring, one Kyle O'Reilly, in which Max Caster literally shook in his boots, was freaked out, and Kyle O'Reilly finishes Max Caster in 2.5 minutes. And the reason why I continue to bring this up whenever I can is that I'm so the hate that I see on TikTok and Instagram and so on from AEW hardcore fans who crap on WWE for the treatment of Jey Uso, former world champion Jey Uso, and Jimmy Uso, and A-Town Down Under being broken up and this and that out of nowhere. But I don't hear any of them talking about Max Caster, the one half of the greatest tag team ever in AEW. You heard me. FTR is not the greatest. Freaking the Acclaimed is the greatest tag team ever. They were the most overact, and we have Max Caster every single Collision losing to a nobody in 2.5 minutes. And before, at least it was like big time guys, right? It was like hard hitters, right? Kyle, I'm not even trying to diss Kyle O'Reilly. I am not. But if I bump into him at a bar, I'm not hesitating that bar fight. So you think he's going to come to, and it's not like he's like a big name and like he's like feared in AEW right now. Like, what are we doing here, Ryan? Are we like, why don't we just is this, okay, I know I ask this every week too. Is this going somewhere? Where does this go that this is saving? Because now Anthony Bowens is like in the sideline too. Like, what am I going to do? Ollie Wes? Like, what are we?
It's very, very strange. And for the longest time, I was wondering if this is going anywhere. And I feel like I don't know if it is, but I'm just purely shooting from the hip here and just, speculating. And I have a theory. I'm
going to steal it. Let me hear it.
I think it's I think they showed Anthony Bowens earlier in the night before they did the Max Caster thing, and he was talking to Billy Gunn, and Billy Gunn, he's like, I don't know where your head's at. You're 1 week you don't want me there, the next week you do want me there. You're all over the place, and Anthony Bowens is looking at Max Caster on an iPad. I think this is going to lead to the reunion of the Acclaimed. I think they're going to realize that we were better together than we are apart. And I think it's gonna be similar to the New Day and Big E, where they're gonna realize that the weakest link in the group was Billy Gunn, and they're gonna kick Billy Gunn out, and they're gonna get back together and reform the Acclaimed and kick Billy Gunn out, and then go back to the tag division, because I think that's where, the tag division needs some serious depth. And they've got a lot of good tag teams now, especially with Cope and Cage potentially reuniting. But putting the Acclaim back there would really bring it to life. So I think, based on all of that, maybe that's where this is going, and I'd be okay with that. But I have no idea if that's really what they're doing.
So, I thought you wrote for AEW. Here's the thing, right? is I like that idea. I really, really do. I dig it. I think it makes sense. I'm kind of vibing. I'm kind of upset I didn't think of it. But I would say it's impossible to happen, only for the fact that then why the hell did they break up? But we'll talk about how Tony Khan and company don't care about that in our Dynamite edition. So maybe you're onto something, because obviously they don't give two craps about putting things together for absolutely no reason. So you might be onto something. And that'll be good, because we got to get Max Caster out of this. I don't even know what's going on. I don't even know what to call it. It's just pathetic. I don't know how it's still on TV.
And the only reason why I think that's even a remote possibility is because he was looking at Max Caster on an iPad. That's the only thing I could think of. And it was like, oh, why is he? And Billy Gunn even pointed, like, you're obsessed with this. You're not obsessed with what's going on out there. You're obsessed with him. And I think there's a reason that they did that. So that's my theory. That's what my gut's telling me, is that maybe it's leading to a reunion between the Acclaimed, and they kick Billy Gunn out because he was the weakest link, just like Big E was holding the New Day back, and then the Acclaim come back as heels.
Yeah. All right. Well said. Like I said, I dig it. I hope that's what happens. All right. Well, you tell me about this then, and I'll let you start. The Collision opened up with one Dustin Rhodes celebrating his new TNT championship when he was interrupted by one Kyle Fletcher. They had a back and forth. Let me know, brother. Oh, you're smiling already. Let me know.
I don't like Kyle Fletcher. I don't get it.
Thank you.
I don't see it. I don't understand it. The glasses. Like, what's up with the glasses? Like, like they look stupid. Like, they look like something that my daughter gets as a party favor when she goes to her 5-year-old birthday party. It's like she's the little sparklies and the danglies, and it's like and it's like, Daddy, why don't you wear these? I'm like, I would not be seen dead wearing these. That's these sunglasses that he wears, and they're stupid. But I just don't see the allure with Kyle Fletcher. Like, I don't get it. I know everyone seems to think he's all that in a bag of chips, and he's probably going to win the TNT championship. But I think the story should be Dustin Rhodes versus Sammy Guevara. I think Sammy Guevara should turn on Dustin Rhodes and go back into the TNT championship. Maybe Dustin drops the title to they dropped the ROH 6-man tag, which Sammy Guevara is a part of, and they dropped the ROH tag team championships, which Sammy Guevara is a part of. And then that leads to Sammy Guevara turning heel, and he goes after Dustin Rhodes for holding him back. I mean, the story's right there for the taking, and he can come back into the main picture in AEW. And I actually tweeted that on our X account at 2DudesPC. I tweeted that exact scenario, and Sammy Guevara actually liked the tweet. So that's probably going to happen. So if that happens in a couple of months, you heard it here first. But and not only did he like that, he also liked the idea of Sammy turning on Dustin after they drop the titles. He blames Dustin for holding him back, and then he turns heel. So the story's right there. It's right there for the taking. They just had a match against each other at All In, so now he feels slighted by Dustin Rhodes, and I think I would be more entertained with that than I would be with Kyle Fletcher. And Dustin Rhodes, I love the guy. I think he's a legend. Fantastic. Like, the fact that he's still doing what he does at his age, and he wrestled 3 matches in 24 hours, like at his age, that's pretty damn impressive. So shout out to him. but we got to stop with these same promos over and over and over. I'm a legend in this business, and I respect this business, and you don't respect it. Like, we saw that exact same promo from The Undertaker on NXT. You have it all, you just don't have respect. You know, I'm a legend. You will. I'm so tired of that. It's the same thing week in and week out with Dustin Rhodes and his promos.
Yeah, I agree. Well said. The only problem with I think that it won't happen is because they really can't have Kyle Fletcher just come out and lose again. Can they have him lose to Dustin again? Like, I know it was four-way or whatever, but how does that work with Kyle Fletcher? I don't see it.
I don't get it. I don't care for Kyle.
I don't
Fletcher
get him either. I feel like he's trying to be Shawn Michaels with the glasses too, and it's like, dude, that's not even like your character. I don't get him at all. But I also didn't like Dustin Rhodes. He had Tony Schiavone or who was opening up with him, and he was like, "Hey, Dustin, good job." And Dustin seemed like he was like upset to be there. He wasn't really coming off as like a good old baby face, happy to. I don't know. It all felt really, really weird in my eyes. We'll see what happens. I'll let it cook. Something I did like though was we had a Toni Storm and Athena interaction again. They were talking to each other and going at it, and I'm really, really enjoying. For one, you know, we're going to talk about the Death Riders too, but Collision just having all these people on here, right? Having Toni Storm and Athena getting pushed, having Death Riders on there. I've always kind of liked that they do that with Collision now because it feels a little bit more important. It doesn't just feel like a card with just a whole bunch of matches, although every match that they have is usually random, but they have good promos in between, right? They build stories in between and then they put together random matches, and we can talk about that too. The main event and the main event on Dynamite. What was the main event on Dynamite? Do you remember? Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it was Mark Briscoe and Claudio.
That's imagine if that was the main event of a Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. Just imagine like we just like matches for a company that only cares about matches. It's wild that they just throw whatever match together and people eat it up. But Toni Storm and Athena, I'm digging it, man. Athena looks like a hitter. I like that. You know, Athena's little sidekick girl, Billy, whatever, went at Toni Storm, and they're going to wrestle on Dynamite, which we can talk about. Toni Storm beat her or whatever, but then she got a good look at afterwards. I like this build. It looks like they're next up to wrestle, but it doesn't have to be. But Athena's hanging, man. This ROH Women's Champion, she hasn't had a lot of eyeballs on her. They are doing the perfect build, and Toni Storm is reacting perfectly to everything she's doing. In Collision, I liked it. This was like one of my highlights on Collision, to be honest. Maybe it was my main highlight.
Yeah, no, I thought this was fantastic, and I like how they're, you know, like you said, they haven't had a lot of eyeballs on Athena going into this, and I think they're doing a fantastic job introducing a new star to the AEW audience. And this is exactly what the women's division needs, right? We haven't seen Mercedes Moné in a few weeks. We've lost Mariah May. It's really Toni Storm and then a bunch of randos in the women's division. And as great as Toni Storm is, they need more people in that division. You can put Willow in that category. Willow's up there. But Athena, man, Athena's here, and she is here to shine and here to stay. I like that she didn't sign the contract right away, and she even said she's not going to sign the contract right away. She's going to make Toni Storm earn it. I like that she went after Toni Storm's accent. She went after Toni Storm's shtick with the sexual innuendo, and she went at her pose. It was just a great way. It was a great way to establish herself, not only as a new star, but a credible threat to Toni Storm's championship. And this is exactly what AEW should do with the rest of the women's division, which pretty much feels obsolete at the moment.
Yeah, I forgot that accent was awesome. Maybe if I talk like this and talk about how I'm into females or whatever, it was hilarious. She's good, man. I never said she wasn't good. I don't watch.
We didn't know it.
Sorry, unless I honestly need to. I watch too much wrestling as it is. But yeah, good stuff. And something that I thought was good, we had the hometown boy, Colt Cabana, y'all, because that's when I think of Chicago, I think of Colt Cabana, and he was there on commentary for absolutely no reason. But wait, he was there for a reason, because the Death Riders decided to beat the living snot out of him. They put the chain around him, hung him up. Jon Moxley did it, didn't care, bloodied him up, walked away, because I guess Colt Cabana and Hangman Page are best friends. Is that because Hangman Page went at CM Punk one time, and so then I don't know how they're best friends, but I always feel like everyone's best friend.
Colt Cabana was in the Dark Order at one point, and Hangman Page was like friends with the Dark Order. I think that's the
I remember that. So that's why they're best friends.
I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe this I mean, all three of them have had run-ins with CM Punk before, so maybe that was like a little subtle dig at CM Punk. Like,
Maybe.
hey, CM Punk choked Jack Perry, so what did Jon Moxley do? He choked Colt Cabana. Hangman Page, he went into business for himself, and we all know about Colt Cabana and CM Punk. So maybe there's something there, but
Yeah.
I thought this was random, but I thought it was surprising. It caught me off guard. I didn't see it coming. So shout out to them for executing it that way. They turned to Colt Cabana on commentary, and next thing you know, there's Marina Shafir there choking him out. I thought it was a good way to get the energy going in the crowd, and people were booing. They love Colt Cabana in Chicago. They do. The heel heat on Jon Moxley was great. I like this, and I'm curious as to what it's leading to. Is this leading? Obviously, we get to Dynamite.
We'll talk about exactly what it led to.
Yeah. But where's Darby Allin in all this? Where is? I thought we were done with Hangman and the Death Riders. I was hoping we would get Hangman and some fresh challengers, but it seems like we're not quite moving on from this just yet. So I don't know. I'm little curious, so I'll let it play out. So I don't really know how I feel about it right now, but it was a good start.
Yeah, I agree. Well, let's get into it. Let's get into Dynamite, and this is what it was leading to, my man, because it enraged one Hangman Page, and he had to open up against Wheeler Yuta, and he put it to him, and he was going to do the same exact thing, but he realized he wasn't a hypocrite, like a lot of people online right now about a certain person's death, and they were about to throw him over the thing, and he was like, I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. Jon Moxley cut a phenomenal promo later on who basically was like, yo, you ain't built for this. You can win a title, but you can't hold on to it. They meet in the ring after that awesome main event. I think it was borderline WrestleMania worthy. And they get face-to-face, and Hangman Page says, I'm all for it. Let's do it. Dynamite next week. Hangman, Mox, part deux. You touched my boy. Now I'm going to touch you. But the match has to be clean. No one's allowed to be at ringside, and I flippin' love it. I've seen people already crapping on it. I don't understand why. I hate that champions don't get automatic rematches anymore. That's how it's always been and how it always should be. I have a theory about Jon Moxley that I'm going to post on TikTok. Exclusive if you want to check it out, of what I think Jon Moxley's doing next. But I think this is him basically closing up shop on things, giving Hangman that last rub next week. And how big is that going to be? Dynamite ratings haven't been great. I know they pretend they are, but they haven't been. I think people will tune in to Hangman versus Mox 2. That seems humongous. And it gives Hangman a chance to say, hey, I don't need a Texas Death Match to beat you. I can literally beat you in a straight up wrestling match because I am that guy. And I think they copied me because I made fun of that match saying that they were two of the most talented wrestlers in this business. And they could have had a pure wrestling match. They refused to. They relied too much on the stupid Texas Death Match. And they said, you know what, Denton, MWO, you are right. We're going to have a straight up match just for you, brother. And so that's what we're having. I'm super stoked. That's all I got to say about it. You're up.
Wouldn't surprise me one bit if Tony Khan, took our idea. I mean, Sammy Guevara liked my tweet about turning on Dustin Rhodes. So I'm telling you, man, that's going to happen in a few weeks. Like he might cost Dustin Rhodes the title against Kyle Fletcher or something. I don't know. But,
imagine.
But yeah, it's something like that's going to happen. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I like your theory that Jon Moxley getting the rub and getting people to tune in, putting eyes on the product. I don't understand why people are criticizing this either. I mean, people criticized Cope and Jon Moxley at Revolution, and then they had a street fight the very next week on Dynamite, which led to some really strong ratings because people were interested in it. It led to a story being advanced with Christian Cage sending the patriarchy out there. So there's always going to be storytelling. Where was Darby Allin this week? What is he going to do? Like, this is supposed to be a clean win. So does this lead to Darby Allin going against Hangman's orders and Hangman's wishes of hey, why'd you interfere? I wanted this to be a clean win. So I could see all kinds of scenarios coming out of this. So I am excited for this match. I think it's going to be great.
All right. I like that excitement. Now here's my second one for you. You ready? How excited are you about this tag team #1 contenders tournament with only FTR being announced in it, other than the people they just beat? But literally nobody. They can't give us who's in it. It's a surprise.
There's only so many tag teams in AEW to choose from.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind another tournament. It makes the titles feel important, I guess. It makes the Hurt Syndicate feel a little bit more important, and it kind of shows just where the state of affairs in the current tag division, and it makes the tag division feel a little bit more important. But I don't like that they're not telling us who's in these matches. I don't like that it's FTR and Jet Speed in this match, and then quarterfinal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, come on, like you can't announce the teams ahead of time. Like when is the next match? Like who is it? Like come on, like give us, if you're gonna go all in, no pun intended, go all in, no pun intended, and give us the actual bracket so we can follow it, and maybe I think it might make fans more interested and more invested in it. So where are the outrunners in this tournament? Where are Brian Keith and Big Bill, who are one of the best tag teams in AEW has at the moment? Where is the Don Callis family and their 800 people? Like let's get into, like, give us the bracket, give us the info.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I think we're gonna get it. I just don't think they know. I think that's the problem. I honestly think they don't know. And so they were just like, oh, we want a tournament. My thing is this, and I'm not saying WWE doesn't do this at all, but AEW, man, can't we just build people up through storytelling? Why is everything a tournament? Every single thing they do is, we need a new TNT champion contender tournament. We need a new tag team tournament. We need a new world heavyweight #1 contender tournament. We need a tournament. I guarantee you, after Mox loses the Hangman, there will be a tournament to decide who faces Hangman Page at Forbidden Door. There's always a why. A Tony Khan, that's like the most basic way to build a like a true tag. FTR is it. You already got it. You got it handwritten. If you don't want them to do it right now, then have them. If you want the Hurt Syndicate, which we'll talk about next, to build up to become baby faces more, then have them knock challengers out of the way. But you don't have to just do it. Tournaments are such a cheap way to get a result, and I'm just like bored of it in AEW. They just are like, they love titles and they love tournaments. The end.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I like it because it just gets to showcase the tag division, which they really need to boost, and I think
get that
would give them an opportunity to do so. But I also agree that they have way too many tournaments, and you want to build a FTR and the Hurt Syndicate, there's so many different ways you can go about it. And especially if that's what this is leading to. Or if you want to get Cope and Cage versus the Hurt Syndicate, there's different ways to go around that as well.
And I wonder if that's the other reason why they have that going on right now, because they're thinking about, are we going to add other tag teams or get some people? What are we going to do with their booking? But FTR is doing great right now. They're the most entertaining tag team in that division, more so than Hurt Syndicate. So you're already doing it. If you just gave all the tag teams that kind of love, and it's not AEW, WWE is awful at tag teams as well. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying
they're bad with tournaments too.
Yeah. 100% they are. Yeah.
At least AEW gives you one-on-one matches. WWE is like, tournament, we're going to do 3 triple threat matches, and then the winner goes to the semi. I'm like, wait, what? Huh?
Yeah.
They're going to give you 4 four-way matches, and the winners of those will then qualify for the triple threats, and then those will go to singles matches, and then the winner will fight for the champion. I'm like, what?
That's because all their PLEs are only one week apart, so they don't have time for that many brackets. They got to get
King of the Ring was like 4 triple threats, and then the winners fought in the final 4. And I was like, okay, this is that's not a tournament. Yeah.
Well, speaking of something that's not a thing, and I sound like I'm harping on Dynamite a lot, but I really like this episode, was Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay came out, he came out and he announced, bruv, that he like tore a couple discs here, and a disc there, and a disc this here, and a disc this there, and he's happy that everyone loves him, but he's going to be out for a little bit. And I was like, oh no, I was already like taking notes, getting ready to like for the podcast and say how sad I am that I'm not the hugest Ospreay fan, but I respect him and he's a dangerous and he's doing it for the biz. Poor guy. And I was ready to make I was already filming it. I was like, yo, this just in. Poor Will Ospreay's going to be out for a while. And he announced that he will be out until Forbidden Door, which is like 2 weeks from today. So couldn't get we're talking about tag teams being pushed. We couldn't get that 10 minutes of segment towards somebody else, towards build it. No, we couldn't just say over the mic, Will Ospreay was injured and now he'll be out for the next few weeks. We wish him the best. We had to have him come out and say this, bruv. Am I just nitpicking, or was this like pointless and stupid?
I thought this was going to lead to something. I kept waiting for someone's music to hit and be like, oh, you think you're going to, skip out? Like, I don't know who I was expecting. Maybe the Young Bucks or something. I don't know. But it was a very pointless promo. And Forbidden Doors in London. It's at the O2 Arena, so where Will Ospreay's from, so of course he's going to be there. He's going to have a match there. You know, maybe, but to be honest, like some of the promo kind of rubbed me the wrong way too. I don't like when wrestlers. I get why they don't do it, but you know, he's like, I hid this from my doctor for months because I wanted to get us to the finish line of the Page and Swerve Strickland, and I understand that, but at the same time, like, you got to put your health first, man. Like, you got to like this could have been avoided if this injury is as serious as you're making it out to be.
Are you buying that real though, or is that his kayfabe care of him trying to like, hey, like
maybe, yeah,
rubs, like,
I could see it. But maybe he's doing it.
I mean, they're always injured. No wrestler ever wrestles. They're like, I'm 100% today. Didn't like this is a grueling sport.
But I do hope that it's a lesson for Will Ospreay to tone it down a little bit, and he has toned it down a lot. You know, he only pulls out the flips when he needs to. He's, you know, he pulls them out for pay-per-views. On TV, he doesn't really. He's toned it down a lot. But I really hope that he learns to even tone it down even more. Like Seth Rollins doing the moonsault. Like, maybe take that out of your arsenal since you've torn your ACL or you've hurt your knee doing that a couple of times already. Might be time for Will Ospreay to change his moveset a little bit and maybe go with more of a ground game than so much aerial stuff. And maybe that will protect, you know, his neck a little, because I don't want him getting hurt, and I feel like he's one springboard away from getting seriously injured. If the neck injury is as bad, and he says he's got herniated discs that are going into his spinal cord, and again, he could be embellishing for TV to make it sound worse than it is, but if it is as serious as it is, like, tone it down a little bit.
It's wild right now because I feel like technology, science, the way we're building, the stuff we're on, that we should be like bigger and stronger humans, and there's injuries all, like Justin Fields today went out on the field, no contact, supposedly tore his Achilles. Like, we're tearing Achilles and doing things, and you know, Tyrese Halliburton, like, we're getting injured. I've been watching sports for ever now, decades. I don't ever remember people being this hurt all the time and everything. Wrestling this, I don't know if people just toughed it out more, and I don't agree with that. I don't think like the olden days were tougher. I think people like are just, I don't know if it's our diets. Maybe we do too much technology, too many pills that get us to where we're lying, training too much. It's just wild how many people are like, I mean, I feel like everyone's injured all the time. Can't keep anyone healthy anymore.
I know.
Can't keep anyone. It's wild.
Kenny Omega's taking time off for injuries, and he just
came
back. And,
I mean, it's like wild. Seth Rollins did a routine flip. Just landed, injured. Like, we're just like, it's the wild.
Chad Gable, Liv Morgan, like all of them. Yeah, everyone's hurt.
Yeah, wild. All right, let's get into something that's wild. I'll let you start off with it, but MJF is not in the Hurt Syndicate anymore. I'll let you explain, and you can give me your take on it.
So we had Cope. So FTR beat Jet Speed in the opening round of the Tag Team Championship #1 contendership tournament. I think that's what they're calling it or something.
Yeah.
Winner faces FTR or Hurt Syndicate at Forbidden Door, I think, or
I think
all that. Yeah, I don't know. They get a shot
Forbidden
at the
Door's
Tag Team
next.
Championship. So but Cope came out afterward, or Stokely Hathaway cut a promo, and then Adam Copeland came out and interrupted him and was like, oh yeah, I guess I forgot. I'm not supposed to touch you guys, and I'm not supposed to come within certain feet of you guys. So, but I know someone who can, and I made a deal with a group, and they're a group that hurt people. And, you know, the crowd popped for the Hurt Syndicate, and out they came, and they beat up FTR, and they beat up Stokely Hathaway, and you know, Copeland stood strong there at the end, and it was a very, very strange segment. But afterwards, you know, we Dynamite moves on. We come back to backstage with MJF, and he's asking the Hurt Syndicate, like, hey, why'd you guys do that? Like, it took me 4 months to join this group, and you guys make a deal with Cope like that, and I don't understand. And then all of a sudden, Bobby Lashley got mad and was like, ever since you've been in this group, it's been you, and I'm sick of hearing you talk about your world championship, and it's always been me. And then he was like, I want you out, and he immediately did the thumbs down. And Shelton Benjamin walked out, and MVP walked out, and MJF just looked befuddled. And then that was it. So he's out of the Hurt Syndicate. And I don't know.
Then he cut a promo.
And he didn't even mention being out of the Hurt Syndicate. In his promo, he was like, I don't need Bobby Lashley. I can do this without Bob. and
Then he
I'm
moved
coming for
on.
you. Yeah, I'm coming for you, Hangman. And then Mark Briscoe interrupted him, and it was like that whole thing never happened. It was a very, very strange turn of events.
It was like they committed and they were like, oops, we don't like this. What are we going to do with this? We have no plan. We shouldn't have done it. So just scrap it. But it was weird because it wasn't all about MJF. He was very much a team player. Like anything that was said, it was just very
Yeah,
weird.
it felt like it happened way
Like,
too fast.
yeah, it was like, Dad, it was like 2 weeks. And
Yeah,
they didn't even help him win his contract. Like it was just like a very weird, like he didn't use, I don't know. I wrote up a way better theory in a scenario, which I thought was going to happen. I don't know how they went with this. I don't know why. I have no idea. But also, I'm not too big on like, oh my God, you're a baby face. You're a heel. You need to act like it. But Cope is a baby face. How many baby faces hire hitmen to attack? Like a baby face would just be like, all right, I'll find a way to get to you. I'll do it the right way and this and that. Maybe tuck Tony Khan into it or whoever the hell is in charge of AEW now. You know
yeah,
what I mean? And convince them to release the thing or do tricky things to like mess with them, but not hit them, like he did with Stokely. But no, Cope, the big bad baby face, like hires the Hurt Syndicate to
the
beat them up
heels.
every week.
Yeah,
That doesn't sound bad. All of it is very weird. I'm not digging it. And MJF too. MJF, you're gonna tell me you have the biggest wrestler, I think, bigger than Hangman, bigger. I think MJF is still the biggest star, and you have him basically get bitched out and punked out of the Hurt Syndicate, and now he's going to be facing one Mark Briscoe and getting
yeah,
like beat up by it. Like Mark, he ran away from. This is like the Kyle O'Reilly and Max Cat. Like MJF is running away from. I get that fans love Mark Briscoe. Rest in peace to his brother. I get that he's living off that, and we feel bad. But come on, Ryan. No one
yeah.
really thinks Mark Briscoe is that dude. Like, is he
No,
like what are we
no.
doing with? What a waste of MJF, in my opinion. Like, what are we doing with this? We can't give him anything else while he waits for Hangman or gets to it. We're gonna give him Mark Briscoe. Yeah,
Yeah,
do
it's
Bobby.
very. I did like his line, MJF's line in the promo where he made fun of Mark Briscoe and he was like, if I had just gotten the penny pin, I would have gotten the winny win. And he was like, that's
Yeah.
not how it works, bud. Like that's wrong. Like it was just good stuff. I also didn't like MJF's promo. Like it's not making sense, man. Like he was talking about like, I'm not going to execute the contract. I'm going to win the belt from you fair and square. Like how? Like you have a contract. Like why do you keep saying this? Like he said it like multiple times. Like, even Hangman Page was like, I don't want you to execute the contract. I want you to beat me fair and square. I'm like, but how would he do that without executing the like?
I don't get it either. I think
I
they
don't get
mean
the
cashing
logic.
in because he can cash it in, right? Like Christian,
Yeah,
he can come in and beat him up in the middle of Forbidden Door. You know what I mean? And come out, or he could do
yeah.
it next week on Dynamite.
Against
Maybe
Jon
he
Moxley
will. Imagine that.
and the Hurt Syndicate cost him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
There's
can
a
see
whole
that.
lot of things that can happen. So, but either way,
Yeah,
I don't like what they're doing, but I'll let it cook. And I do think they just were over and didn't think that idea was working, so they just squashed it.
yeah. It was way too soon. I think they should have done it the other way around. They should have
I fully agree.
maybe do the MJF kick him out first,
Mm-hmm.
and then then they get the cheers for that, and then either later in the episode or maybe next week, Copeland does the, hey, I joined, I got the Hurt Syndicate to do my bidding for me, and now they're baby faces because they turned on MJF. It would have made a lot more sense, but
I
it
fully
was
agree.
ass backwards the way they did it.
I agree. But with that said, we did like this week in AEW.
It was a good
It
episode.
was good stuff. They're building properly. They're staying solid. There hasn't been any poor episodes either way. Pay-per-views are good. I'm loving it. And with that said, don't forget that after you watch this episode to go find us, and we're going to do a report card on everything this week where we are going to grade the happenings of AEW. So don't forget to tune into that. And as always, we appreciate you being here. Don't forget to subscribe, or if you're listening, to 5-star review us, comment, so on and so on. And if you want to listen to me get attacked on TikTok, you can catch me on all social media at my_wrestling_opinion, where you'll hear my true, honest, I don't copy other creators other than Ryan's opinion. And with me, as always, is the man that I steal from.
At Ryan Enjoys Wrestling. Go follow me on all the social media platforms. Go follow us on TikTok at Two Dudes with Attitudes, on YouTube at Two Dudes with Attitudes, on X at Two Dudes PC, where we're getting in the ears and getting in front of professional wrestlers. each and every day. Ricochet's commented on a few things that I've posted and other things. So go follow us, Two Dudes PC. We're on Instagram at Two Dudes with Attitudes Podcast. And if you're listening to us on Apple and Spotify, we appreciate all the love and support. We're in the top 10% of all listened to wrestling podcasts. Keep the love coming. Go drop us a 5-star rating and review and tell everybody about your favorite two dudes on the internet.
Two Dudes Wolfpack, we out.
Two dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and our attitudes ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're riding and denting, they here to get your attention. A 5-star broadcast, shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all elite. The two dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on time to